Meet Blaze Custom Computers. I was introduced to this company a few weeks ago by a follower on Facebook. Thanks for that message. They specialize in custom handcrafted computer systems, quote unquote, and will build and ship one to you for a hefty premium. And when I say hefty, I mean hefty. So we're gonna pick these apart. Stay with me. The Be Quiet PureBase 500 is a serious compact mid-tower contender. It packs enough space for a 360mm AIO, full-size ATX motherboard, and extended graphics card, along with a 140mm bracket at the rear. It comes with interchangeable top covers for either airflow or silence. You can snag it in white, black, and metallic gray. Large power supply is welcome. Nearly an inch of cable management space behind the motherboard tray. Whew, I could go on. Check it out via the link below. Now, a quick disclaimer up front. What you'll be hearing throughout this video are my opinions, which are reliant on current hardware prices sourced from various online marketplaces. So I think they're reinforced opinions, but nonetheless, they are my own opinions. You might think a $500 build fee is perfectly fine, but I sure as heck don't. And you might think that a $250 US shipping flat fee is fine, but I sure as heck don't. I also don't want anyone calling up this company for any reason apart from legitimate inquiries. This is a satirical commentary, and any publicly listed company is fair game, including mine, so have fun. This company here is Blaze Custom Computers, and it has a pretty simple website with a .net domain. The first thing you'll likely see is a slideshow of builds and peripherals. Not bad, a nice hook to draw folks in, right? Looking nice. But scroll down a bit further and you'll meet a few of the atrociously overpriced PC listings. Notably, half are sold out though, and I feel bad for whoever purchased them at these prices. Consider this Blaze Viper TGi5 system. First of all, instead of a spec sheet, the owner decided to clump these chunky paragraphs together elaborating on each individual component. And while I don't necessarily mind this approach, much of what's here is over-sensationalized garbage, overhyped, you get the point. Some of it's also inaccurate. Gigabyte GTX 1650 WindForce. This graphics card is powered by NVIDIA Pascal. No, it's Turing. Come on, you can look that up on NVIDIA's website in 2 seconds. The most advanced GPU architecture ever created, and including VR, ultra high resolution, and multiple monitors. I seriously feel like I'm reading an overhyped Craigslist ad right now, if I'm being frank. I'd also like to see a raw parts list, but we don't have that here. It would help massively when pricing out components. You don't have to dig for each individual item in these chunks of paragraphs. But anyway, back to the meat and potatoes. The system, I spelled meat, M-E-E-T in the script. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, back to the meat, M-E-A-T, and potatoes. This system boasts a Core i5-8400, not the latest generation, mind you, an ASRock Z370 motherboard, 16 gigs of Trident Z DDR4 at only 2400 megahertz, the GTX 1650 we just mentioned, an H500P case from Cooler Master, an MA410P from the same company, a 120 gig SSD, a 1 terabyte hard drive, and a PowerSpec 650 watt PSU. He's also throwing in a cable mod LED strip, a Windows 10 license, and a Captain America action figure, for whatever reason. But let's start at the top. A Core i5 is not bad in 2019, but you'd certainly pull more bang for the buck with Zen 2. That's what I would do if I was building custom PCs and trying to flip them. And the 8400's lower locked clock speed seals the deal. And for reasons unknown, the builder paired this locked SKU with a Z chipset. It's just kind of a rookie mistake. Great for overclocking if only you could overclock. It's kind of a stupid and pointless pairing unless you plan to upgrade in the future, but by then something better and cheaper will likely hit the shelves. I've never really understood that ideology. Like, why spend more on an overclocking motherboard when you just spend more on a better processor up front, from which you'll actually reap real benefits? I won't pick on the slow DDR4 for this one. For Intel systems, it's generally less relevant anyway, but he also picked a reliable brand, go G-Skill with Trident Z. The GTX 1650 is a bit underwhelming, sure, but what makes this entire thing a downright terrible choice is the asking price. I'm not joking here. The seller wants $1,400 freaking dollars for it. And that's down from, get this, $1,900. He's doing you a favor, folks. He's just pulling these numbers out of thin air, it seems. I jumped into PCP and priced it out. You could build almost exactly what you're seeing here for less than $1,000. And if you were a smart builder, you'd use a cheaper air cooler because an 8400 doesn't need anything extravagant. You would use a non-Z chipset board, you would use cheaper RAM, you would use a cheaper, frankly, better PSU, and you would use a cheaper case. That'd bring you to less than $800. But at $1,400, you'd have to be a complete idiot to entertain this. That's just me being blunt there. And remember, there's a flat $250 shipping fee associated with this purchase. Yeah, that one stings. Now, you're into the mid 1600s, right? Come on, for 1600 bucks, I could build something that would destroy this. Who in his or her right mind would spend $1,600 on a system sporting a locked older gen Core i5 and a GTX 1650? I really don't get it. And of course, we've got the seller trying to hype it up in the description, probably because he knows he needs to if he wants to actually sell this thing. Don't settle for inferior proprietary components used by the big box brands. Every Blaze custom computer system is built with the same two hands from start to finish to bring you the finest in quality and reliability. Ha! He then goes on some rant about Wi-Fi adapters, original Windows keys, 80+ efficiency. I mean, really, he's distinguishing his components from inferior proprietary ones when his own system sports a power spec? That's a Micro Center brand. You can't even buy that anywhere else unless you're buying used. Not garbage, but not something worth bragging about, and certainly contradictory to his description. So, I don't know, I couldn't help but point that out. There are cheaper computers to be sure, but we craft computers built to last. I mean, come on. How is what you're doing any different than what you or I could do? This is part of the sensationalist claim here, that the seller is trying to make it seem like because he built it, because he knows what he's doing, it's suddenly worth way more than if you built it on your own. If I built the same system with the same specs, it'd be subject to the same manufacturing constraints, the same potential defects as yours. And you're trying to justify a ridiculous markup by saying that you could build with quality and care, as if everything you touch turns to gold. You emphasize optimal component choice and superior brands, but you fail to pick components that actually make sense when seen in the context of your CPU and GPU. Locked Core i5 with a Z370 board, need I say more? An MC exclusive PSU, a freaking 1650 and a $1,400 system. I mean, come on. But okay. Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he just mispriced one system, right? There are two more over here that haven't sold yet, so let's try these out. Which will it be? Blaze Crystal Series i7 RTX 2080 or Blaze Crystal Series i7 RTX 2080 Ti? Yeah, let's pick the more expensive one. Core i7 9700K, $340. PC Part Picker. H100X, $80. PC Part Picker. Asus Maximus 11 Hero, $300. Referencing PC Part Picker. 32 gigs Trident Z RGB DDR4, $140. All the storage adds up to around $500 USD. He lists a 2080 Ti Founders Edition, but shows an EVGA SKU in the pictures, so we'll pick the cheaper of the two. The discrepancy is his fault, not mine. $1,200. He uses a dated Lianli PC08, so I threw in a much better O11 Dynamic XL instead. It's cheaper, mind you, and that's just over $200. And lastly, the RMX 750W PSU, $120 according to PC Part Picker, as of mid to late December 2019. He's got a few fans here. Let's throw in like 60 bucks. He's also got some custom cables, and it looks like some custom RGB strips. We'll tack on, what, another 100 bucks? Okay, 200 bucks. $400. Who cares? Point is, it doesn't matter. We're still nowhere near the $4,400 asking price. Yeah, you heard that right. He wants over 4,000 US dollars for this system, plus shipping, mind you. So it clearly isn't just one overpriced PC on Blaze Custom Computers. It seems as though most, if not all of these systems are egregiously marked up. But why? Probably because he's moving inventory at this rate. If he wasn't selling these PCs, he'd be forced to lower his prices to move inventory. And I find that to be disappointing. It means folks are actually paying way more than they should for hardware that's just been screwed into a case. You don't need a college degree from a freaking Ivy League school to be able to build a computer. You don't even need a high school diploma. You don't even need to graduate. Can you even graduate middle school? It's freaking easy. Kids do it all the time. The hardest part's probably the compatibility check, and you can Google that. Or maybe it's the part where you're supposed to price out components so you know what's the best buy for the buck. Seems as though a few folks skipped that memo and paid the price, literally, at this Blaze site. Do they deserve it for not doing what little due diligence was required? Maybe. That's an ethical question for you to decide. But it doesn't mean I won't call out insane asking prices when I see them. And funny thing is, the seller lists a business address on his website that forwards to a UPS store. So there doesn't appear to be a brick and mortar of any kind, not that he would need one. I'm not gonna show the business address here. I don't want this guy being harassed. It's not the point of this video, but still. I traced the nearest Micro Center from this location and discovered that it isn't very far from this address. So the builder may just be hauling purchased parts from good old MC in exchange for the occasional hefty profit. And Micro Center would be one of the best places to profit on PC parts. Listen to me. Folks in the Northern Ohio area, especially, if you live near a Micro Center, there is absolutely no excuse for overpaying by this much for a PC. You're in heaven. I'd kill to have an MC within a few hours of me. I need to drive over 6 hours to get to one from my house here in Florida. You can find great CPU and motherboard combo deals, discounts on peripherals, RAM, and more. It is seriously a dream. I honestly think it's smart that the buyer is sourcing components from here, especially if he wants to maximize profit, but by doing so, by overcharging by hundreds or sometimes even thousands of dollars, I think that is just disgusting. And I'm assuming he's going to Micro Center for at least some of these parts. Why wouldn't you, right? But what I don't think is smart, again, charging a $500 premium for this PC, over a $1,000 premium for this one. Also, something's got to be done about this insane flat rate shipping charge. Unless it shows up to my door in a crate, I'd say you're overpaying at $250 for shipping a PC. Other retailers manage to ship for around $100. This is domestic we're talking about. Hawaii and Alaska exceptions, and then shipping overseas, forget it. But within the lower contiguous 48, that's pretty expensive. I don't pay anywhere near that for a PC case, and a heavy PC case still wouldn't cost anywhere near $250 to ship. I get that he's a small business, doesn't have the contracts with the shipping companies, but still, it's a fatal blow, in my opinion, on top of the price, which is already a fatal blow. If you guys like this video, let me know by clicking the thumbs up button. I appreciate that. Consider clicking the subscribe button if you haven't already. Slam that bell icon for me. That'd be a huge solid. I'd appreciate that. And stay tuned for more. My name's Greg. Thanks for cringing with me.